Good morning and welcome to this edition of Tank Time. This morning I want to talk about something that I haven't spoken about yet, and that is ghost shrimp. Now, most of you in the trade, when you hear ghost shrimp, you think of cichlids, puffers, larger predatory fish. This is sold almost exclusively as a feeder shrimp. But I see it as something else. I see it as something more. For one, I like ghost shrimp because they're great little cleaners. They'll get just about anything that the fish don't get, and they'll even get what the fish do get, because they'll eat the waste of the fish as well. In addition, these guys will breed if you have enough plants and enough furniture in your tank. If you have thickets of like Nubius roots and guppy grass and you have a smaller peaceful community of smaller fish, these guys will breed. And they'll be a self-renewing source of food for your smaller fish because they will just love the fry. But if you play your cards right and you have enough places for them to hide and you have enough adults breeding at once, you'll have enough fry where that some will survive enough to make the next generation, because these guys don't last so long. Now the disadvantages are that, number one, they don't live long. They live 6 months to a year at tops. And they're really susceptible to some kind of disease. I don't know if it's a fungus or a virus or a bacteria, but they get all opaque and they turn white and then they just die. So if you get enough of them, some of them will survive this and begin breeding. But other than that, I like them. What I really like about ghost shrimp is just how they are, how they move, how they look. They're really overlooked as a community critter, a community denizen. Let me try to find one. They just glide through the water. There goes one now. They just see how they just glide. They have just perfect control. They can hover. They can just pick things out of the water and settle back down. They just kind of cruise along. They're gossamer, they're crystalline, they're delicate, and they're very elegant. And I love how they just kind of sit around and twitch their antenna. They're very cool. I like them. I like my flower shrimp too. They swim basically to get from point A to point B or to get away from predators. These guys rely on their tails to get away from their telsons to get away from predators. But to get from point A to point B, they do it with style. These are a great addition to a smaller, peaceful tank with danios or guppies, maybe smaller barbs, dwarf gouramis. There's nothing in here that could really threaten them, except maybe my clown loaches when they get a little bigger, because they get big, so they might pose a threat later. Agaras, no, they're not predatory. They're algae eaters. My tetras and danios will pick off a lot of the fry, but that's what they're there for. But they won't attack the adults. Yep. There's one. They just kind of perch ever so delicately. It's like they're just made by a glass blower. Yep, the ghost shrimp, one of the more overlooked denizen of the aquarium. This would be also great for a nano tank with a lot of the smaller rasboras. They like a lot of plants, some driftwood, some rocks, places where they can hide. I discovered in my brackish tank, they like to burrow somewhat. They will make little tunnels or little burrows under rocks, and there'll be a little pile of sand and a hole. And they just kind of hang out there. They remind me of Florida spiny lobsters. You can just see their little antenna twitching out the little hole. They're just so cool. And then the puffer finds them, and gone. Yep. They don't last long in the brackish tank because I have the night goby and I have that puffer, and for that tank I do buy them as feeder shrimp. And this is the reason why I didn't put my ram or my flagfish in this tank, because I like my shrimp. Let's see, what else is going on? Are there any flower shrimp floating around here? Well, I hope they're not floating. Well, they just don't seem to be out right now. I haven't put the biscuit out yet. But there's another ghost shrimp. Well, that about wraps it up for this edition of Tank Time. Next week, I'll focus on a different species. Until then, I will see you later.